Armonia is a game for 2 to 4 players by Uwe Rosenberg. The goal of the game is to move your sound discs along the paths to the temple tiles, and complete the temple tasks by rolling dice and making specific number combinations. The first player to forge 4 of their sound discs by completing temple tasks will win the game. To set up the game, start by placing the game board in the center of the table with the dice pip symbols facing up. Also, place the dice board and the 7 dice on the table near the game board. Shuffle all 16 temple tiles and randomly place 2 of them in a row face down to the right of each landscape on the board. You'll have 4 extra temple tiles when you're done, and these tiles go back into the box without any player looking at them. Give each player the 6 sound discs in their color, returning any extra colors to the box. We're setting up for a 4-player game, so we'll use all the disc colors. Then, place 1 sound disc for each player on each of the 6 landscapes, starting on the left side. Choose a start player based on whoever most recently sang or hummed a tune, or pick one at random. We'll say, for the sake of example, that blue is our starting player, followed by orange, pink, and white. To balance the first player advantage, the players who aren't first get to start with 1 or 2 discs 1 step ahead on the paths already. These spaces are indicated with this blue disc symbol with a number on the board. For example, this 2 means that the second player, orange, gets to move their disc ahead to this space before the game begins. The same is true for this space for the third player, and if playing with 4, the fourth player gets to move these 2 discs ahead as indicated. Now the first player takes the dice board and the 7 dice, and you're ready to play. Armonia is played in turns, starting with the first player and then going clockwise around the table until 1 player wins. At the start of your turn, roll all 7 dice, and organize them in the dice board if you wish. Now you can re-roll some or even all your dice up to 2 additional times. At the start of the game, you want to get sets of all the same number, so I'm going to re-roll these, and then 1 more re-roll. You can also stop before using all your re-rolls if you're happy with the dice you have. Once you have finished rolling the dice, you now check to see where you can progress along the paths, and the temple tasks if possible. Let's take a closer look at the paths first. Each of the 6 landscapes requires you to get multiples of the same number to progress down their paths. For example, to progress here, you need 6s. If you manage to get 4 of a kind or more, you get to take the bottom road here and go directly to the right side of the board. If you're the first player to reach the end of this landscape, flip the left tile in that temple row face up, making sure the grass is showing at the bottom of the tile here. If possible, you can complete the temple task revealed immediately, but I'll explain the temple tiles later. Now, if you only get 2 or 3 of a kind, you can instead take the top or middle path here, placing your disc on the corresponding space. On a later turn, you would only need to complete the combination shown here to move that sound disc to the end of the path. So if on your first roll you only got a pair of 6s, on a later turn you have to get a triplet of 6s to finish the path. Now, if you have completed 1 or more of the paths, you can start working on the temple tasks with your dice as well. There are 16 different temple tasks in the game, and each shows a pattern of stones which represent the combinations of dice you need to complete the task. The stones going left to right represent dice in sequential order. For example, this tile with 5 in a row requires a straight of 1 through 5 or 2 through 6 to complete. Stones that are arranged vertically represent dice with the same number. For example, this tile requires 5 of any single number to complete. Most of the tasks, however, will require a combination of the both, and this is where the dice board can really help. With my dice placed here, I can easily see what shapes for temple tasks I can complete. This task here, for example, requires a pair, then a single, then a pair in order. Looking for that pattern, you can see I have 2 2s, a 3, and 2 4s, which is enough to complete this task. Having more dice than you need is okay too, like how I have 3 4s even though I only need a pair. These dice could also satisfy this other temple task as well, using the 2, 3, 4, and 5 dice like this. So, if you have the dice to complete a task, you move your sound disc onto that tile, and flip over the next temple tile. If able, you can complete that task immediately as well, moving your disc to the second task, fully forging your sound disc. If you can't, leave your sound disc where it is, and you can attempt this task again on a later turn. Here's an example of a game in progress, and I just finished my 3 rolls and placed the dice in the dice board. I have 2 2s, a 4, a 5, and 3 6s. Since I already have a sound disc on this 2s path, I can complete it with a pair of 2s, and move that disc to the temple tiles, the first of which was already revealed. Also, the 3 6s allows me to move a disc onto this space, and later I will only need a pair of 6s to finish it. Looking at the temple tiles, I can complete this task using the 4s, 5s, and 6s, so I'll move the sound disc onto the tile and reveal the next task. Now I don't have the right dice to complete this task, so the sound disc stays where it is. Also, remember that when completing a temple task, the dice have to be sequential without skipping numbers. So for example, I can't complete this temple task because I don't have any 3s here. Since I can't make any more progress with any of my discs, my turn is over and I pass the dice and board to the next player. Remember, you can use your dice as many times as you like while moving the discs. For example, if I had this dice roll, I could use it to complete all of these 6 tasks. It's even possible to start a turn with a sound disc still on the start line here, and then using a 4 of a kind, move it to the temple, and complete both tasks all in one turn. Once any player has 4 discs completely forged, meaning they have a disc all the way on the right temple tile of 4 rows, they win the game. And that's how to play Armonia. For more information on this game and other Eagle-Gryphon titles, see the description of this video or check our website at www.eagle-gryphon.com.